What is going on, everybody? I'm coming at you with another video from my most recent locals. Today I'm going to be piloting the Zoro and my opponent is going to be piloting the Smoker deck, and I'm opting to go first. I think going first with Zoro is actually super important because you have so many one-cost characters that can be extremely strong and have really potent endgame potential. Characters like Nami, like the Duck, like Sunny, like Otama, all of these cards are super impactful and they're all one cost. Being able to search but with Curly Dedan is super awesome. I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck here. And this is my first time playing against Smoker, but I'm not playing it myself, so it was a pretty exciting matchup for me. However, I didn't really feel like I was out of control at all. But we're going to go ahead and start with the Nami play here. And I unfortunately don't have Sunnykun, so I'm running the Duck. That means that I whiff and I pick up a 5-drop Luffy. And 5-drop Luffy's okay in this deck. I don't know if you play more than like one or two of them. It's definitely a card that you want to see at least one of throughout the game. My opponent's going to go ahead and play the Don Quixote Doflamingo, Corazon, not Doflamingo, Roxanante. But I'll go ahead and I'll play a Karoo here. Karoo I'll refer to as the Duck for the rest of the game. And then I'm going to slot a Dawn underneath my Zoro, maybe. Swing at 7, swing at 6 here. And my opponent's going to opt to 2k counter out with the Garp. And I'll play a Tony Chopper and pass turn back to my opponent. Again, the reason why I love playing these one costs is because they can become live at any point. Even your one cost 1k blockers can become live at any time. My opponent is going to go ahead and swing 5 at me, which I'll go ahead and take. Again, my hand's getting kind of small and I don't want to lose anything. He's going to go ahead and play a Meteor Volcano, which is going to pop my Duck, and then he'll play another 2k blocker, passing back turn to me. And at the point that I'm in here, I have a lot of Otamas in hand, and the Otamas I'm thinking and I'm saving those for a 10 cost Kuzan, because that way I can Tama pistol. And so I'm going to go ahead and reveal top 5 here. I see 2 Namis and a Chopper, so that means I'm bottom decking 2 Namis here, which feels pretty bad, but it is what it is, I guess. And at this point, I can start being a little bit aggressive. I can either force out some blocks or force some card out of hand. So I'll swing 6 at leader here with my leader. And then I will pay 3, and I'll drop a Zoro and swing 6 at leader here. And the reason why I'm dropping the Zoro here is because in the position that he's in, he's not really able to kill it unless he plays a removal card like a Sakazuki. And I'm okay with losing my Zoro to a Sakazuki at this point. But looking at his hand, he doesn't have that, so he's going to have to go for a different route. Otherwise, he can't really swing over my Zoro because I can just block it with Chopper. So my opponent, down to 3 life, is going to go ahead and put 2 Dawn aside. He was super fidgety during this match. I think he's either nervous or I'm not sure exactly, but he's got 2 blockers out, and I've got, potential 4 attacks next turn that he's got to be wary of. So he'll slot 1 Dawn underneath his Smoker, and he'll minus the cost on my Chopper to be at 7k here. And he's got 5 Dawn active, so I'm no longer worried about a Sakazuki, but a Kobe could still come down here and pop the Zoro, which again is fine. This card, getting that chip damage with the Zoro is super good, and it makes him have to deal with that target instead of popping one of my Namis. So he swings 7, and I'll block with the Chopper here, because that forces him to use the Kobe, which also is going to pitch a card from his hand, which I think is really, really good, because if I can get him down on hand size, the better. But he's going to go ahead and play a Borsalino instead, opting to leave a Dawn active, and he's going to let my Zoro stay alive, which I think might be a bit of a mistake, because that means I'm just free to swing. Or maybe he's trying to bait me into thinking he doesn't have any removal cards in his hand. I don't know, but I'm not really 100% sure what the play was there. So I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 Dawn here to play a Curly Dedan. And then I'm going to search the top 5 for, I believe, a Makino here. Because I send another one to the bottom of the deck here. I need to at least see one of those this game, because that card can make my Nami's super powerful. And then I just kind of think to myself, I'm like, I want to get the most value out of this turn as possible. So I swing... I'm just slotting Dawn underneath my Namis here. Just kind of telegraphing what I want to do. I swing 5 at leader here. And the reason why I'm swinging 5 first is because if he decides to block with the Borsalino, I can just swing 6 at him twice with Zoro's combined. So I swing another 5 here at his leader. And he can either clear board or, you know, he's in the counter with the Kobe. So he had the Kobe in hand, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he must have another Kobe because was willing to pitch that one. Whenever someone pitches a card that, you know, I think is important, I always think they have another one in their hand to use, readily available. It looks like he's got Tashigi, a Kuzan, and then maybe a Meteor Volcano. He opts to take the second 5K, the 6K swing, in which he uses to pop my Zoro, which is a little unfortunate, but I should probably have swung with the Zoro first instead of my leader. But that's a mistake that I've made. I have to, you know, get in the habit of swinging with your characters first, so that if you hit triggers in life, in that case, what does he pop? He pops my Dadan, because I think it's an active character only that it pops with the Shockwave. So I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty commanding position. He's going to go ahead and play the 4-cost Kuzan, which will let him draw a card here. And Kuzan's an extremely strong card, and it's not a card that you can really leave on the board, because he can just generate so much advantage by minusing cost. And he's got quite a bit of events in hand, it looks like. He's got another Shockwave, it looks like. He'll -1 cost to my Dadan to put it to 1, and then he's going to use a Meteor Volcano to pop it. Again, just trying to get bodies off the board here. And then he'll probably swing at one of my Namis here, because, again, he wants to control the board, if he can. So, the Smoker's not at 7, he's only at 6 right now. So he's thinking whether he wants to slot a Dawn underneath his blocker and swing at me, which he will. He wants to clear the board, and I'm going to counter out of that, and I'll force him to swing and leave 1 up. So 1 Nami is going to stay alive here, which is huge for me. Being able to keep bodies on board in this matchup is extremely important. If they can remove your entire board, you're just playing from behind the entire game. And I think at this point, he's just thinking if he wants to swing at my Nami with his Borsalino. And I would personally like that, because if I can protect it and I can just go the next turn, then we're feeling pretty good. Again, you're just seeing the judge point out that it was not he didn't use the effect at 7K because he only -1 to 1. And so now I'm on my 9 Dawn turn here. And I have a couple of different options. If you look at my hand, I have a Zoro, I have a Makino, I have a Chopper. I'll slot 1 Dawn underneath my Zoro because just always a great play. And I'll pay 1 Dawn here to play a Makino. Makino is going to buff up my Nami and put her to 6K now. And I'm going to swing 6K at leader. He opts to counter out with 2K, and I'll swing 6K at leader again here. Just really trying to pressure and go on the advantage here, and I don't want to give any chump blocks away to this Borsalino. Because, again, he's really trying to protect this Borsalino, and he's taking a lot of hits to life here. So now he's down to 1 life, and so I'm like, okay, well, since you're down to 1 life, I'm going to go ahead and swing a big swing here at your leader to force basically every card out of your hand, or to force that Borsalino to block. Because Borsalino here, while he's a strong card, if I can get him off the field with an attack rather than with a... because I can't get rid of him with a jet pistol or anything like that, so he'll be forced to lose it, which is perfect for me. And then I can play a blocker here to protect my Zoro if I wanted to, which I will do. And I still have 2 Automas in hand for the potential secret rare Kuzan coming down. 2 Thomas plus Jet Pistol gets rid of that card, which is, I think, super important in this matchup to hold on to those Automas so that you can get rid of it. And I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good spot. I have 2 active characters on board that will be able to swing, Nami and Zoro. So he's got to deal with kind of both of them here. And he's got an establish and a blocker. Because if he doesn't establish a blocker, I have the Rush Luffy in hand, which he knows because I picked it up off the first Nami of the game. And that Rush Luffy is going to go for game if he goes down to 1 life here. So he has to clear board, and he has to deal with at least 2 of my characters. So he's thinking of the best way to do that right now, just kind of dividing up the Dawn as best as he can. I do see a Hina in his hand, which would be a good answer, because it can rest 5 or less. So, just a like binder being passed across in the middle of the frame, but he can minus cost with the Kuzan here, and he could pop my blocker. I think popping my blocker is probably the best play that he could make here, because that way he gets free swings. But I don't know if he has any removal in his hand right now. I'm not sure if I saw Kobe or not in this hand. I think I see a Kobe here. So I think Kobe to pop the blocker is probably his best move, and then he swings over my entire board to clear it. So he'll minus 1 cost on Chopper, and he'll swing... $7 at my Zoro. Right now I'm bluffing like a Radical Beam or like a Guard Point, something similar, and I think I opt to block with the Chopper because I think I'll lose both the characters anyways. So I want to force that Kobe out of his hand, because while it's a character on board for him, it's really a one for one trade, because you still have to pitch a card for it. And the more cards that he has to pitch, the better. He's going to swing 7 at my Zoro, which I'll opt to protect with 2 Automas. So I'm not going to get a Kuzan this turn. And then he'll rest the rest to play a Hina. And I have 1 card in hand at this point. But I was able to protect my Zoro, it looks like, which is always the dream. And he'll pass back turn to me. So he is leaving Dawn active for a Meteor Volcano, which I don't really have a great way of dealing with it, other than just kind of swinging anyways. And I did draw a Magura off of that top of my deck, which was pretty tight. A Magura is great. I can buff my Nami up really hard here. He has 2 blockers, and so I'm going to tap my Makino here to power my Nami, so she's now at 6k with the Zoro. And then I'm going to give it a 9k swing so that he's forced to use the Meteor Volcano to protect his Hina if he wants to block. Otherwise, he goes down to nothing. And he'll lose both of his blockers. So I'm putting him in a rough position here, where yes, he can use the Meteor Volcano to pop my Zoro. But that's completely okay if he decides to pop my Zoro. But he has to use the block and the Meteor Volcano to keep his Hina alive. And then I can just kind of swing freely at the Hina with my Zoro if I want to, just to get rid of it. Because at this point, he has to... He can block with the Rocinante as well. But blocking with Rocinante means that I'm going to get another swing. And so he will go with the Shockwave here. And he pitches a card because I swung at the Kuzan, and he'll pop my Zoro. So he loses 2 cards here. And so I slot the rest of my Dawn underneath my Zoro. And I swing at the Kuzan for 11. Again, he has to use one of his blockers here, and that's my goal, is to get rid of as many blockers as I can. Because I'm sitting on this big Luffy. And I'm also kind of showing that I might have a Red Hawk in hand, or 2 1-cost counters like Guard Point or Radical Beam. And at this point, I'm okay if he clears my board. I have, Magura up right now. Magura, I'm going to be able to get him to swing. He's a 2,000 in power, so I'll give him to 5 at some point. he is gonna go for my bodies, I think, at this point. So he'll pop my Nami, and he'll swing my Makino first. But he can't really afford to swing this blocker right now because it's just too strong to lose it. So he's in a bit of a pickle right now. I have a lot of pressure. He knows I have the Luffy, so he's gonna go ahead and swing 8 at Nami to make sure that it goes down. And Hina is up. I don't think I see another blocker in hand, but I see a Smoker gets played, and then he plays another 2-cost blocker. So my Magura is still up. And I top deck a pistol, which is like the top deck of the century here. Amazing top deck. I mean, I'm not really in position to lose, I don't think, but I'm going to pay 4 to pop the Hina. And then this way I can swing 6 at Kuzan. And then if he blocks it, he's got 1 card in hand. So I think I swing 7 at Kuzan, and then I swing 7 again at Kuzan. But I might swing 5 at Kuzan. No, I have to swing 7 at Kuzan, yeah. I swing 7 at Kuzan here, just to guarantee that it's gone. I don't want that to stay. And then I swing 7 again at leader, which means that he has to block it. He's got 1 card in hand. So he can clear my Magra. But he ends up taking the life here, which that's a pretty big mistake, because I think he should know that I have that 5-drop Luffy in hand. So knowing that he only has, 3 cards in hand, I know that a 5k Luffy, 5-drop Luffy swinging at, 11k is not going to be blockable. So even if he clears my whole board, even if he clears all of my life here, it's not gonna matter, because I have that 5-cost Luffy from the start of the game. I've been holding on to it for this very moment, to when he's gotten down to no life and he's got these blockers out. I've been chipping away slowly, and this has been my game plan the entire game ever since I picked up the Luffy, was get him in a position where he has to rely on his blockers, and then I can just finish with an unblockable attack where he's got no cards in hand. So he knows I've got 1 card in hand, so it's kind of rough to give me life. So he's going to swing at the Magra first, which I'll happily let go. He's done his job. And he goes to give his Smoker 1 non, I believe. And he actually, I think he messed up the order of operations here. It only works if it's a character with a cost of 1 or less in play. 0. Does he get double attack? So I don't think he actually gets double attack here. So I advise him that he doesn't get double attack, so he changes his mind. He reads his card, he's like, oh, right. I'm like, it's okay, you take it back. It's not that big of a deal. Nothing. It doesn't really change the state of the game. He doesn't have really any cards in hand to do with, so he swings 7 at me. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. If that Jet Pistol there would have been crazy, I think. It looks like he has a Great Eruption in hand, and then a Kobe, and then a 1-drop. So, not a ton of things that he can do right now with the current board state, other than maybe just play a Kobe in Pat's turn. He can bluff that he's got a Shockwave in hand. So he'll go ahead and play the Kobe, I think. Doesn't really have anything else. It would be really, really awful to pass 10 Dawn to me, pass with 10 Dawn up, just to get Luffy, I think, at this point. But I think that's his only play that he has right now. I was kind of hoping to see a 10-cost, Kuzan come down at this point in the game, but I think if you're not seeing it at this point, it's been too late. I think there was maybe 1 turn that he could have played it, but when he didn't play it, I was like, yeah, that's fine. So he plays a Kobe to get pressure on the board, and I draw a Nico Robin there. I leave 1 Dawn under my Zoro. I swing 6 at leader, and he blocks it, and then it's just the unblockable Luffy. I almost played the Newgate. I was thinking about playing Newgate here just for fun, but I know that's not the right play. I know that Luffy is the right play here, and I'm gonna drop the rush Luffy and swing, and that's game. Great game, my locals. Shout out to the Smoker player. It was a really, really fun match. I really appreciate everyone tuning into the video, and until next time, Monty out.